Call to order this meeting of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners workshop meeting, October 26, 2023. I would note that all commissioners are here. Two are virtual. Commissioner Rabarchak and Commissioner Hisro are here, and excused are Commissioner Polona and Commissioner Engel. We did meet in executive session to discuss matters of personnel and real estate. We will now have a pledge of allegiance followed by a moment of silence, and I would ask if you please keep in mind the latest victims of gunfire, this time in Maine. The casualty list is still growing, so consider keeping them in your thoughts. And I would ask that the pledge be led by tonight by Mr. Dick Craig, if he would.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Craig. That was a bang-up job. Awesome.
Anytime.
You're the best. You can come every month. You can be the tip staff. Yeah. All right. We'll start with petitions, complaints, and suggestions from citizens. Does anybody wish to address the board at this time? Anybody online? Okay, hearing none. We'll go to approval of minutes from our October 14th, 2023 Board of Commissioners regular meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Move on to recognitions and presentations. First up is you have before you a draft proclamation acknowledging and honoring the Living Spring Harrisburg Church, a parish of the Redeemed Church of Christ and God, celebrating and honoring 20 years of service to the community in Susquehanna Township and beyond. Do I have a motion on that?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And if it please the board, at this point I will go to the podium along with Commissioner Napper, Vice President Napper, and present the proclamation to Mr. Pastor Edward Cross. My turn on. I'll be great.
We'll start.
Here.
Let you lead the show. There you go.
Okay. This is a proclamation of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners honoring the 20 years of service of Living Spring Harrisburg Church. Whereas for 2 decades, Living Spring Harrisburg Church, a parish of the Redeemed Christian Church of God and based in Susquehanna Township, the 4th Ward, I might add, has been a bedrock of faith and community service, personal enrichment, and spiritual empowerment in Susquehanna Township and other communities in central Pennsylvania. Whereas Living Spring's vision of transforming lives, empowering people, and impacting communities is abundantly evident in the growth of your membership and the services you provide. And whereas founded on November 2, 2003, under the distinguished leadership of Senior Pastor Tunde Oyelowo and his wife, Pastor Yinka Oyelowo, the congregation has grown remarkably from 8 members back then to well over 500 today, participating in weekly worship services. Living Spring members represent 34 nations, fostering unity, diversity, and communal and business growth. Whereas in addition to local congregational growth, Living Springs has launched 9 flourishing churches in South Central Pennsylvania communities. In addition, churches have been established to serve those whose native languages include Haitian, Spanish, and African French speaking. Whereas over the years, Living Spring has expanded its reach and impact. The state-of-the-art International Center and other facilities are dedicated to extensive community ministries, such as your monthly Manna Food Bank, which serves 500 families with groceries and other resources. And whereas because any successful mission uplifts the dispirited, expands horizons, nurtures the challenged, celebrates achievements, and fortifies a community, we're proud that Living Springs calls Susquehanna Township home. Now therefore, on behalf of the Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners and staff, we honor and thank you for your 20 years of enriching lives and building a better community, and wish you many more in your unmatched record of ministry and investment of people. Proclaim this 26th day of October 2023 Susquehanna Township Board of Commissioners. Congratulations, sir. All right.
Take a picture first.
On behalf of Living Spring Harrisburg Church, I want to.
Come on, Pastor. Take one.
I might be here all
Never
day.
turned.
On behalf of Living Spring Harrisburg Church, our senior leadership and the pastoral team, we want to thank Susquehanna Township for your warm reception to this proclamation. We certainly are honored to live in this community, work in this community, and build a better community. Again, many blessings upon all that we do here in Susquehanna Township. Thank you.
Here, here. Thank you. Amen. Thank you, Pastor.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Moving on in the agenda. Presentation of the capital projects portal. Mr. Proboka.
All right, thank you, Mr. President. So Commissioner Napper requested at the recent authority meeting that staff do a brief demonstration of a fairly new tool that the township has been offering, which is a way for residents and the public at large to monitor progress on a variety of capital projects that are currently underway for both the Susquehanna Township Authority as well as the township itself. So up here on your screen is a snapshot of what that looks like. If you go to our webpage, you can find it right off the main page. And there are 4 projects that are on the left-hand side there. You can select any one of them. So we'll pick Mini Basin 32A. It will zoom you to an aerial of that project scope, and you can see it sort of highlighted in the green and purple polygons. Zoom in without zooming in too far. And there's a legend that you can click on the top right. It's over here and disappear and reappear. And you can figure out what those various polygons are referring to. So the purple is paving, the dark green is a sewer project, the orange is stormwater, which doesn't have any component of Mini Basin 32A, and then gray would be reserved for others. So you'll kind of get a sense just from looking at the legend and the project area, what the particular activities are that are going on in those geographic subsections of the township based on the corresponding legend. So again, if you select one of these projects, you'll see a narrative open up as well. This is primarily maintained by GHD because we have 3 authority projects going on, but we've added in some of the road work that you'll see there down the bottom in purple. But you have the project name, a background and description, so it's a pretty lengthy narrative there, a description of the project location, duration, work hours, and then you can select the link here to bring you up to a PDF of frequently asked questions, FAQs, for those various projects. So the other neat little component of this is, again, going back to the legend, on the bottom right, you'll see a corresponding color code that will show you within that project which is under active work, which segments of the project will be completed next, what has been completed, and then what's a part of the scope but is not yet within the immediate horizon of the work. So that's really all there is to it. The other feature I think is kind of neat. If you select search up here, it's tied to the Dauphin County Geographic Information Systems portal, so you can type in your address right here, and it'll zoom to that address, so you can find out, pretty clearly where your particular residence or business may be with respect to the project that's currently underway. So we hope to continue to provide this portal to residents to access and keep it updated as we progress through the coming capital projects, road work, sewer replacements, stormwater repairs and capital projects and the like. If the board has any questions, I can answer it. Otherwise, that's the nuts and the bolts.
Yes, Mr. Manager. Who enters the township paving projects?
We've been doing the GIS layers in-house, so both Betsy and our zoning administrator, whose last day was today, but have GIS backgrounds. So actually our stormwater coordinator has some GIS experience as well. So we can create these, they're called shape files. We can create these shape files in-house. We have to send them over to GHD for inclusion in the portal. So we've been doing those ourselves.
Very good. This is awesome. I appreciate you guys doing this. I'm a visual type person, and I created my own Google map and put different points within Susquehanna Township, but I wanted to know, like all the schools and all the township buildings, but I didn't know where all the basins were. So this is going to be helpful for me on the sewer authority as well. Thank you.
Absolutely. We were talking this morning as we were doing the final inspections for the road paving projects, and we noted that between Construction Master Services, who did the road project, Dolly, who's doing one of the mini basins, we also have work being done presently by Jow and Bradley. That's this mini basin, was it 23B? It's one of the two mini basin projects. So we have a lot of different contractors. You'll see a lot of work going on in the township. We're really excited about it, and this will be one tool we can help to, kind of spread the word. Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions or comments?
I just kind of wonder how much of a load it is to keep up with, where the construction is going on and where it's been completed. It seems like that would be quite a bit to maintain.
It can be pretty intensive, but I'll tell you that our engineer with GHD, they're doing this. So I mean, it's regardless of whether they publish it on a portal or not, it helps them track project status. So for them, it's kind of part and parcel with what they're already doing. For us, it is an added task for staff, but certainly one that's worthwhile, and we'll do our best to keep it up to date. I can't say that everything will be fresh every day, but we'll get to it as we'll prioritize it as we're able and make sure it's at least as current as we're able to commit to.
I think that's probably one of the most useful things from my point of view. So where's the work going on now?
Mm-hmm.
What areas to avoid driving on if you're, picking your routes and so forth.
Well, that was a big topic at the open house that we had prior to the start of the mini basin project. It was led by HRG, GHD, and one of the questions was, how do I know what's going to happen tomorrow or next week? Because you know what the whole project's going to be, you just don't know when it's going to hit your neighborhood, when it's going to affect you. So, and that was really, if not the genesis for this project, at least a lot of the steam that's in the engine for it. And so we're happy to provide that kind of information. It's very useful.
It's great. Yeah.
So. All right, well, thanks for that. Anybody else? Nope. Hearing none. We have no traffic studies on the agenda. Anybody have anything they'd like to raise? Hearing none. Next up is action on ordinances, resolutions, etc. Proposed resolution 23R31, which would be execution of a settlement agreement with Triple Crown Corporation to resolve the permit fee dispute for property located at 3000 Russell Drive. Mr. Probalka.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board has with your agenda this evening a copy of the resolution which would authorize the President and Secretary to execute the settlement agreement with Triple Crown Corporation. The current permit fee dispute is surrounding 3000 Russell Drive. The board may recall that recently there was a similar settlement that was executed with respect to the adjacent building, 3001 Russell Drive. So this is virtually identical to that. The only difference, rather, is that there's no building permit settlement being considered as there was in the other application, and the zoning permit fee, which is again kind of based on the same multiplier, is a little bit higher than the other building because the declared cost of construction was a little bit higher. Otherwise, the other party to the agreement, Triple Crown Corporation, has indicated their willingness to countersign this as drafted, and staff is recommending approval of the resolution this evening.
Move to adopt.
Is there a motion?
Second.
Second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? How about online here? Carl, Jody?
I said aye.
Oh, sorry. All right. Looks like all ayes and no nays. So, motion passes. Resolution passes. All right, next up is Resolution 23R32, which authorizes the submission of a statewide local share grant application to the Pennsylvania Department of Community and Economic Development for the Phase 1 development of Wedgewood Hills Park. Mr. Kness.
Thank you, Board. Yes, we are looking to submit a grant for the maximum amount with DCED for the statewide local share program. That program is funded through the state gambling proceeds. So the maximum grant application is $1 million, and that would go towards the first phase of the Wedgewood Hills project. That would be the design and development, and then hopefully subsequently some construction. The overall estimated cost for the first phase is $1.842 million. We would be looking for additional grant funds as well as we go through that process. Well, DCNR is going to have their next round of grants beginning here shortly. So I would anticipate that we would be looking for some funding that way as well. So, any questions?
If I could just add to that too, just for the board's clarification, any match required for this or other grant proceeds for this project would come out of the Recreation Developers Fund or Developers Recreation Fund, which is the revenue from which comes from fee in lieu of parkland for township development. So it's not appropriations that come out of the township's general fund or from the general tax revenue that we collect. It's entirely developer funded. Thank you.
And this program does not have a match requirement.
No match. Okay. Very good. Any other questions? Has there been a motion? Is there a motion?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Moved in second.
Thank you.
Comments or questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. All right, next up is request for modifications of approved plans, Stray Winds Farm Phase 8. Betsy?
Thank you. Before you is a copy of a written request submitted by Triple Crown Corporation to waive the requirement to construct an emergency access road, which is shown on the approved plan of Stray Winds Farm Phase 8. The construction of this access road is technically challenging and does not provide the desired access as designed, emergency access as designed. Staff, the township engineer, and the fire marshal have reviewed the request and find that removing the emergency access lane acceptable. The project is located in the R2 medium density residential zoning district and is in the 8th ward. At their meeting on October 23rd, 2023, the Planning Commission recommended approval of the above referenced plan modification as requested.
Is there a motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
Moved in second. Comments or questions?
You said the fire chief did recommend it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
All right, thank you, sir.
Any other comments?
No, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right, thank you.
Next up is a minor subdivision plan for 3604 Bowcrest Drive. Ms. Logan.
Thank you. Provided with the agenda tonight is a waiver request as well as a copy of the plan and engineer and township comments on 3604 Bowcrest Street. The purpose of this plan is to subdivide the existing lot into 2 separate lots, including portions of the paper streets along Euclid and Bowcrest Streets. Proposed lot 1 would be 70.76 acres in size and contain the existing single-family and multifamily dwellings and related site improvements. Proposed lot 2 would be 5.05 acres in size and contain the existing natural site features. The lots are being subdivided for a future residential dwelling on lot 2. The property is zoned R2, medium density residential, and is in the 5th ward. They've requested a waiver for preliminary plan procedure of the subdivision and land development ordinance, as well as approval of the plan, and we have some conditions that the planning commission recommended as well. Those conditions were to address all outstanding comments from the township staff memo dated August 18th, 2023, and the engineer's review letter dated August 25th, 2023. The applicant shall provide all required signatures and seals. The proposed property markers and/or monuments shall be installed and inspected by the township engineer before recording the plan. The applicant shall pay all required fees. The unimproved rights-of-way shall be properly vacated as necessary, and street trees shall be provided in accordance with the subdivision land development ordinance. So we're looking for a recommendation, or township and the planning commission are recommending approval of the waiver from section 22-404 preliminary plan procedures.
So moved.
I'll second.
Moved and second on the waiver. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Do we have a motion on the plan itself with the conditions enumerated by Ms. Logan?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Comments or questions?
I just have a comment. The natural site features of the remaining larger site are pretty much wooded and very steep, so it's likely, just looking at the plan, like maybe one single-family house could be built on it, on the usable portion of the land, so it's not intended, I don't think, to be multiple houses constructed on that.
What's the zoning there?
R2.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's an existing apartment building which is also on that, where the single family house is currently. That's been there for a really long time. It's considered just a legal non-conforming use. And then the owners want to build their own home on the second parcel that they're subdividing on.
Okay. Any other comments, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Here's a request for approval of contract with Adecco for temporary staffing services. Mr. Provoca.
Thank you, Mr. President. Board has on your agenda the contract with the DECO Temporary Staffing Agency. The intention of the agreement is to enable the township to utilize different temps for various positions as the need perhaps presents itself. We don't foresee that being the case except for the one present vacancy that we have for the staff receptionist position. The intention would be to hire an applicant by the name of Deanna Ray Salvi, whose resume is provided with your agenda this evening as a temp to hire arrangement. So the staff recommendation is that the board approve the agreement tonight.
Motion to approve.
Been moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Second to Commissioner Napper. Any comments or questions? All's in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next up is the consideration of the appointment of Mike Loomis to the Recreation Advisory Committee. Mr. Knaus.
Thank you, Board. Yes, provided in your, with your agenda is an application from Mike Loomis of Orchard Hill Road to serve on the Recreation Advisory Committee. The RAC currently has one vacancy for their at-large member, and this appointment would expire December 31st of next year. And we are recommending to the board appointment of Mike Loomis. And from my understanding, was also on the Recreation Advisory Committee previously. Thank you.
Is there a motion?
Mr. President, I'd like to make a motion to appoint Mike Gomez to the Recreation Advisory Committee.
Second.
Moved and seconded by the virtuals. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, you two. Next up is the consent agenda. I'll read them off. We'll vote in a block, but you can feel free to ask questions on any one once we have a motion and a second. Authorization to hire Leanne Hoffman as executive assistant. Authorization to hire Robert Chase as truck driver / laborer. Civic Engage Web Platform Housing and Host Support Agreement renewal. Application for payment number 1, Edgemont Park ADA improvements, $41,677.20. And payment authorization of payment number 2, which is paving projects in the amount of $278,007.70. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So move.
Moved by Commissioner Napper,
Second?
seconded by Commissioner Rothrock. Any comments or questions on any of those? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Motion carries. Now's our favorite time, Commissioner comment time. Anybody have any comments? Rocky? No comments? Nothing, Carl?
Nothing.
Jody? Okay, good. Very good. Our second favorite time.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Then seconded. Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're out of here. We are out of here.